listeners to the BizPlan podcast, where business meets bold ideas and heart meets hustle. I'm your host, Sana, and today we're diving into the intersection of digital marketing, leads, sales, and AI, and then scaling your business online. Now, if you ever think like this, that how can I cut through all that competition, that clutter, that noise, and actually valuably grow my business online in today's competitive digital landscape, then listeners, you are in here for a treat. And joining me is Roberto Martinez. He's an advocate for business owners navigating this new digital frontier. And Roberto has worked with giants like Google, Amazon, TikTok, and Meta, scaling businesses to seven-figure growth. And exciting numbers ahead. He has led over 500 marketing workshops, heads Braven Agency and SMRT, yes, and even he has helped launch LA Optimized to get small and medium businesses online during the pandemic. So, whether you are a scrappy startup or you're a scaling brand, then I hope this conversation will give a lot of value to you. And Roberto will definitely bring some real world insights and strategies that will work for you. So, with that, Roberto, welcome to the show. And it is such an honor to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Son. I'm very excited to be here with you and your community talking about how to help our small businesses grow and scale.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, first let's talk about your journey, your portfolio, Roberto. It's really, really exciting. Some great numbers, some great companies you have, giants you have worked with. So, but you have also helped small businesses scale to seven figures using digital marketing and AI. So I would love to know where do you think a small business should actually start if they are feeling overwhelmed by the options, when they are planning their online presence strategy or scaling their brand online.
What a great question. It depends where we are as a business. If we're just getting started, we want to have an MVP, most viable product, and test out that MVP in the marketplace. We don't want to spend a lot of money. We want to make sure that there is a market fit. So what do? We get the product or service and we test it out on free platforms. If it's a product, Pinterest, Facebook, Marketplace, Instagram will let you promote your product at no cost. And that will give you feedback to see if there's a market fit. Now, if we're bigger, if we're already in the market and we're ready to grow and scale, then it's all about monopolizing the different solutions out there like TikTok Shop, Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads to really drive the funnel, but also having an amazing website that allows you to convert those prospective customers in real time. And so understanding, is this product a product fit? And if it is a product fit, let's leverage some of these amazing channels to drive sales.
Mm. Yeah, and because I know many of our listeners, they feel like they're constantly behind. There's so many platforms right now to look over to, and every other platform has a new feature, new trend coming up every day or every week. So here exactly lies, or this exactly ties to my next question, Roberto. So let's say I do have a blueprint to start making my brand present digitally online. However, I don't know where to start, on which channel to look forward to. And then there is another question coming up about the budget. Since you have worked with giants like Google, Amazon, and then you're also helping small businesses. So I think more than the channel they need to work on, or the platform they need to work on, I think the biggest concern here sometimes you know uh, comes up is the budget. Maybe as a small business, I may not have enough budget to compete with a giant like Amazon. Let's say if I'm starting some kind of e-commerce business or e-commerce brand. So what's your view on this, Roberto?
No, I get it. It's really difficult sometimes for our business owners to get started, to get traction. and to leverage the right channel and invest in the right place. So the first thing that always helps me and my team communicate to our business owners is, let's make the numbers make sense for you. What's the average cost to acquire one of your customers? And how do you acquire your customers? Understanding that is going to help you lower that anxiety level we all feel when we're spending our own hard earned dollars to grow our business, to grow our company. And so the second thing you can do is understand your customer acquisition cost and how much that prospective customer is cost in each one of those channels. So let's say customer acquisition cost is how much do you have to spend to acquire that customer within a digital marketing spend. The beauty is that you have AI now that can give you some benchmarks, some pointers on this is how much it costs to acquire a customer on Facebook, on Instagram and TikTok, on Twitter or X, on LinkedIn. And depending on where your customer lives, that's going to be a great way to test out that channel. Now, the other way is growing out your followers. And what do I mean by this? Now more than ever, we can create amazing content, very, very inexpensive, put it out on the internet and see if anyone is connecting to our brand and build our followers, build up our email list, build up our text messaging so that we can use those tools. Those are tools very, very inexpensive. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's not very prohibitive for you to launch your product, e-commerce product online. And the third way that I love when small businesses do it, identify partners in your ecosystem that aren't in direct competition to you, but can leverage those social media brands, those email lists that those third party partners might have. One of the great things that we are able to do at our company is identify other partners that might be your partner that could share that list of 2, 3, 5,000 emails where you're just getting started. And so that allows you to reach scale very quickly without breaking the bank.
Wow, yeah, that this is a very effective channel. I think it's affiliates and within the network uh, to look out for. And also, I think with regards to the second point, correct me if I have understood it wrong. So it means that, Roberto, as a small business, let's try out all these channels. Let's put out content and then see where are we getting more engagement or more followers, something like that, or it's something differently to be
Yeah.
approached.
So the first thing is just understanding where the customer live, talking to that customer that buys from you, understanding how they found you. It's a lot of market research. We call messaging strategy and survey, just touching that customer and saying, how did you hear from us? Why did you buy from us? Like, where did you buy? Where did you connect with our brand? And so for us, we just have to find out where they're at. Now, I love what you said. Affiliates is really important, but identifying the best affiliate, identifying the best channel for you as a small business owner is going to be crucial because you want to, let's say you have 5 channels. You talked about them, the social media channels and all those that are involved with their email marketing, paid ads, affiliate or referral, and not all channel is the best channel. You want to identify the best channel for your product that sells at the highest margin. So while all 4 channels might be selling, you want to identify the one that sells at the highest rate at the lowest cost. And so you have to leverage some of those street tools. One of the things that I highly recommend anyone do is start by just having an online presence. And if you have a little bit more budget, create that website because that website's going to let you to connect with online analytical tools like Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and Google Tag Manager. So you could see where your customer came from and where your customer converted. And once you do that, the guessing game becomes obsolete. You no longer have to guess. You can use real life data to guide your decision making.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. And Roberto, digital marketing has now been kind of uh, an established industry here. AI is in that boom phase right now. But when we see this from a perspective of business or scaling our business, growing our business, um, when do you think is the right time to start? I mean, uh, is it better if we start immediately? Let's say I'm thinking as an owner immediately, or I would need some time to understand my PMF or my target audience, and then gradually I'll decide that, okay, this is the right time to start. And then secondly, um, in terms of, often in terms of putting out content on creating that brand presence, we often talk about that you should put quality content out there which will resonate or connect with your target audience. And then on the other hand, we'll say that, okay, let's put more and more content probably every day or maybe every week and see what kind of responses we're getting. So where exactly, how exactly should we strategize this in terms of the content the brand is putting up or I'm sharing?
Donna, that's a great question. I think it really starts with your why. I think any entrepreneur knows that, yes, we want to make money, we want to take care of our family, but why are we doing this? And most entrepreneurs, if you ask them, money is secondary to purpose. Like, this product needs to be in the marketplace. I want to change the way people use a certain product, and I want to make their life easier. Most
Mhm.
entrepreneurs don't really think about it from a point of reference of, I just want to become a billionaire, zillionaire. It comes from, I see a need in the market and I want to fulfill that need. And so once you have your why and understand why you're spending 15, 16 hours a day working on your brand, developing out your brand messaging, then it's all about finding that niche. And when it comes to content, the customer will tell you what they like and what they don't like. So I don't necessarily believe that you have to stop marketing across multiple channels. I think you have to really start with your why, understand why your business exists, create your positioning statement, your brand value, create your mission statement, and have those guide you onto the direction where your prospective customer is. And then once you have those are like your lighthouse that's going to direct you to where you should be going. And they're going to guide you in how you message that strategy. Now, obviously, you understand why you exist. You developed your messaging strategy, your positioning statement, your why.
Mhm.
Now it's time to communicate that to the audience and see if it resonates. See if that audience says, yes, that message resonates with me. That type of brand resonates with me and what they're trying to sell. I want to buy, or no, that doesn't really resonate with me. So creating the content and then testing it out in the marketplace is going to be crucial. So there's no such thing as too much content. It's understanding the value of the content of your end user. So really trying to get into the shoes, and this is where design thinking is such a great tool. Getting into the shoes of your customer and feeling their journey, feeling their pain, and identifying the why they would want to buy from you is going to help you with the content. And so once you feel that pain, then you can create content around that pain and how your solution, your product and or service is going to make that pain go away in a day, in a week, in a moment. And so, and you could use, you could create lead funnels, you could create lead magnets that allows you to inform them with information of how your product or your solution, or more importantly, your
Mm.
expertise in the space is going to make their life a lot easier. So that's what you're seeing right now in the content marketing space. They're identifying a
Yeah.
pain point and they're providing a huge amount of content on how they're going to make your life easier if you listen to them. And so there's no such thing as too much content. The content is there to see if your message is resonating with the end user. And once you figure out, yes, this message resonates with them, then it's time for you to create multiple styles of that content across multiple channels.
Totally, totally. That is really important. That is really important. That's such a great takeaway for all the entrepreneurs and business owners out there. And another, I think, aspect which is really so it's holds so much of importance in digital marketing is personal branding. And I think this is very much relevant, especially in for small businesses who, although they are physically locally present, but I think pandemic kind of forced them to create an online presence as well. We have seen many traditional businesses locally present who are physically available, but during the pandemic, we saw such a pivotal shift that had to be done. It was kind of imposed upon them to make that transition. So, what kind of strategies would you recommend for a business owner if they want to create an online presence, maybe with help of personal branding? especially for local businesses?
Yeah, well, people buy from you and they buy you as the extension of the product. So you have to understand what your local personal brand is. And if you
Mhm.
want it to be associated with your company, that's a really difficult decision for some business owners. But it's up to
Mhm.
them if they want to do that or not. They could use someone else within their company that they trust. They could use avatars now with AI. You don't necessarily have to be the face of your company. You could have an avatar look alike be the face of your company, talk, walk, speak, and create a massive amount of content in that avatar's likeness. And that likeness can be a likeness to you. So I've seen business owners do that. But I think I want to go back to something that you said where you talked about leveraging the content, building up your brand, knowing that you need to create this content. Now more than ever, user generated content is the way you build credibility. Identifying third party associates, affiliates, whatever you want to call them, that could repurpose your content and push it out on your behalf is going to be extremely helpful. There's a lot of platforms right now that allow you to get reach very quickly using that user generated content. So platforms like this is why platforms like TikTok are so influential because it's a third party person in essence say, I trust this brand, I trust this person, you should trust
Mhm.
them too. So it's a halo effect that you have with an affiliate, especially if that affiliate has 20, 50, 100,000 users. So that's really important to take. And the last piece I would talk about when it comes to your own brand is what do you represent in the marketplace? I love the idea of developing out entrepreneurs and business owners as thought leaders. You are a thought leader because you say, I believe in this product. I live my life developing out this
Yeah.
product or service. And so I have expertise in that space. So I don't necessarily think it's about generating content, but I think it is about you want to share your gift to the world. And if you see it in that lens, it's more of your helping your consumer better understand the industry, the sector, how to use this product, how not to use that product, what's coming on over the horizon. And that builds trust and credibility. And so when you're developing up your brand, you are the thought leader in that space. You want to build up the trust in your consumer. So how do you do that? By telling them what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, why this is important for them to recognize, how are you going to help them maneuver or guide through that space. And so
Mm.
that way you can just create a ton of content because you are the subject matter expert. We all know that uncle or that cousin or that friend that knows a lot about one thing and one thing only, and that's all they talk about. That's in
Yeah.
essence what you want to do for your brand.
Yeah, that's a very very good point you made, and I really loved that you mentioned about expertise here because especially in service led industry or where you actually uh, you have worked hard, you have created a product or a service with your expertise, and you want to share that gift with others out there. I think um, I, I would say that the customers who are coming to you, who are connecting with you, they'll see the value in your expertise. They'll see the value that you're offering, and that may not be immediately like hitting the numbers, but definitely you will get some top quality, customers there, like your brand advocates. So that's a really good point. Mhm.
Yeah, and you said one key word, value. You're consistently providing value to your customer base, to your follower base, to your network, and you're giving them value, value, value. You're not always asking them for something in return. A lot of
Yeah.
startups and a lot of entrepreneurs start by always having an ask, always having that call to action. And I'm of the mind that you create a lot of value in your content. And then later on, when you run the ads and when you run retargeting, you could ask for the favor or the call to action there. What we believe in is just provide as much value to the customer, to the followers, to the network that you created. And then later on, you'll do the CTAs, the cost to action because they want to trust you. And it's still worse when you're over here, you're talking about how amazing you're going to make their lives, how you're going to lower their pain point. And at the very end, you're like, follow me now and buy my product. That doesn't sound genuine to me. So we really recommend build up your followers later on when they give you their email, when they give you their phone number, then you ask them, hey, if you like that podcast or if you like that brochure or that how to do list, follow us now and download our product. But you don't do it in the moment that you're building that trust.
Mm, that's true. Great. And so, Robert, talking about you, you have led 500 plus workshops. I mean, that's quite a big number. So, I'm really interested to know what's one piece. I think one is really it does injustice. I think what's some valuable pieces of advice you would like to share, and you find yourself repeating over and over to businesses when it comes to lead generation and sales online.
Yeah, well, the work that I do with these tech companies is I provide technical assistance training and workshops for them to better understand how to use those solutions, how to grow their sales. And so the one thing that I always remember when I talk to them and I always walk away from is you have to stay focused on the value that you're giving to the end user. Sometimes we get caught up in the features of our products. Like this does X, this does Y, we lower up, and that's great, but really hone in on the why. Like you are working with, and it has to be emotional. It has to be people buy based on emotion. They'll justify their reason later with logic, but they have to feel the reason why. So a lot of entrepreneurs spend a lot of time on the features, like, oh, this does, five different things at 10 different ways. And sometimes that's analytical, that's logical. What you really want to talk about is the pain that the customer is going through and how you are going to resolve that pain or the happiness you're going to give the customer and how, yeah, you can buy other products or use other services, but this is going to make you 10 times happier. I'm exaggerating here with the percentages, but the customer has to feel that you're providing them something 10 times better than anything else that they're going to experience. And that you don't do that through features. You do that through the trust, through the confidence, through the ability to demonstrate the value, like you talked about before. And so you mentioned my company, Smarts. Uh, uh, it's a software tool, and
Mhm.
a lot of businesses, when we started, we talked about, oh, you increase revenue by 15%. If you're an e-commerce product, you increase revenue by 45%. And we are able to identify and benchmark your pain points, blah, blah, blah. And the truth is that didn't really sell. You know what sold, Sana? Uh, we are your AI business consultant. We're your AI business coach. We are here with you every step of the way. You can trust us to be here. And that made them feel I'm not alone. I feel safe. I'm willing to spend the money as opposed to 15%, 45%, 75%, whatever. They don't like that's nice and I like that, but I'm alone. I'm an entrepreneur. Who's going to help me? Who could I talk to help me? And that's
Mhm.
where our solution stepped into. And so the messaging is very important to get right. And so within those 500 courses that I've trained entrepreneurs is understanding that you are a storyteller. You're telling your story. You want to lead with that emotion. You want to engage them. You want to say, hey, I like that guy. I don't know what he's selling, but I'll buy from him. Or I like that girl. I don't know what she's providing, but I want to work with her.
Mm, yeah, yeah. I completely agree with you, and that's really smart, really smart. Great, great, Robert. And before we wrap up, it just came to my mind, because a lot of conversations have been on the marketing budget and stuff. So, a lot of businesses they invest heavily in paid ads. We see across e-commerce platforms and then Google and then Meta ads. You know, paying heavily on those keywords, bidding on keywords, and running multiple campaigns, but they see diminishing returns. So, is it because of these, or should we actually question the long term ROI of ads on platforms like these, or is it still non negotiable for growth?
I would tell you that you need those tools are there for a reason and they're used for a reason because they work. So we know that they work. Now the customer acquisition cost, the CAC might be very, very high. Our job as an entrepreneur, especially startup, is to get that CAC as low as possible. We want to acquire a prospective customer. If the benchmark is $100, we want it for 10. And so understanding how do you do that? How do I lower my cost? And it's all around the content. It's all around you creating great content that speaks about your specific niche and how you provide value to your customer. I think that what I'm seeing across the board, regardless of what industry you're in, is telling that story through your content brings more users. You adopt those users, and then when you advertise to those users in your platform, it's a lot less expensive. And so it drops the cost because, touch points, a touch point is when you touch that prospective customer so they can know that you exist. We have to continuously touch that customer. There's no such thing as one click convergency, right? One click attribution level doesn't exist. You don't run an ad and all of a sudden they become your customer. You got to continuously inform them, delight them, engage with them, build trust with them. And the only way you could do that is through content. And so content continues to be king. User generated content is going to be the queen. It's going to be what's going to take over everything. Building out a great user generated content strategy is going to be very, very helpful for you to lower your customer acquisition cost, even if you don't run ads. But you'll run ads later, but they'll be less expensive if you create a strong content strategy.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Roberto. So, before we wrap up, if our listeners would like to connect with you, explore more about Raven Creative Studios or Smarts, or they would love to learn more insights from you, what's the best way to do that?
You guys could reach me at robert@bravenagency.com. You guys can connect with me on my company, bravenagency.com, or smarts.co. We're here to help you guys. And for those folks that do email me, we'll give you a free business assessment at no cost to you through Smarts.
Brilliant. I'll make sure to have all the links in the show notes in there for our listeners. And Roberto, thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, this has been such an insightful conversation on such a commonly discussed topic, but I think, experiences are unique, insights are unique because everybody has their own unique journey and own unique learning experience. So, thank you so much for making it clear that thriving in the digital age isn't just about chasing trends, but it's about building smart, sustainable systems with the right content with value.
Thank you, son. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your community.
Oh, lovely. So, to all the business listeners out there, if you are ready to scale smarter, not harder, be sure to connect with Roberto. I'll have all the links in the show notes along with this episode on your favorite podcast platform. And yes, we always keep on saying, keep blending bold ideas with smart action, and it is how we build the future of business. Until next time, this is your host, Sana, signing off from Best Blend. Thank you.